Riding on cars.
Okay.
Run on cars.
All right then. And welcome to another episode of Roll for Damage, and clearly we are in festive moods tonight. Even though this is our second attempt at trying to get this done, as it were. Joining me, of course, is Mr. Henry playing the lovely Lucia.
Riding on cars.
Oh, yeah, we're also continuing our Vampire the Requiem Lost Nights campaign. Too much sugar. Okay, joining me also, of course, is Mr. Russell playing Charles Tybalt.
Riding on segways.
Wah, wah.
That's
Shut
lame.
up.
And of course, Mr. Dominic, who is playing Charles Maddox, I think. Maddox, yes.
Trenton Maddox.
Trenton
I'm on a
Maddox.
boat.
Well, whatever makes you feel better. Anywho, we're going to be continuing our Lost Nights Chronicle, as I said earlier, and it has been actually some time since we have physically played. For the listeners,
Well, we
probably
never
not
play
so much.
physically.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. You know, it's just been crazy as far as scheduling and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that happened.
Everything happens.
We can't always have our phone sex, guys.
Don't.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Anywho, yeah, we better get down to it. People don't want to hear
Oh.
it on. That's what our normal podcast is for. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and start with recaps. I'm going to go counterclockwise again, this time with Mr. Dominic.
So we began the last session with a confrontation with Nikolai LeBlanc in the laboratory underneath the crypt. He emerged from an elevator, and Trenton did not like that, so they fought. And actually, Trent just didn't trust him. And eventually, Charles saw the confrontation, tried to give a warning shot to LeBlanc by shooting a dragon's breath at the ground at his feet, but I was incapacitated by LeBlanc and caught on fire by the dragon's breath, and which Trenton also did not like. And then eventually LeBlanc escaped with the help of the Russian spy, but the Russian guy that was helping us out initially, and then Red and Graves emerged from the same elevator shaft because they were pursuing LeBlanc, and then we all kind of joined forces, got in a car to go head out and meet with Lucia, who we haven't seen for nights, or it's been a while. But anyways, we did meet with her, but on the way, Trent was in the car and he was hearing weird voices and he was getting very disturbed. But I think he was kind of making some connection in his head between that and maybe this like sort of fire and brimstone craziness that's in his blood that he can't really figure out. And anyway, we met with Lucia and we all gathered or put our heads together and shared information. And eventually LeBlanc pulled up to a cathedral that was across the street or down the block or so, and entered the cathedral, which is St. Judas Cathedral. And we all decided to take care of that bastard. But we were initially trying to, I think we're planning on doing some sort of, infiltration or, be sneaky about it. But Charles hinted to Trenton to just get in the car and drive the car through the cathedral doors. And Trenton thought that was a pretty good idea. And I guess they're kind of thinking the same thing, like, oh, this could be a diversion. So Trenton did that, and that's where we left off.
All right, Mr. Russell.
All right, I'll just fill a few gaps in that and leave Henry's actions to himself. We had started, as Dominic said, we started in the crypt. Charles had gone outside to call the sheriff to find out some information. They informed about LeBlanc's escape plan through the tunnels. While I was getting this call, LeBlanc did show up in the elevator, fought with Maddox for a bit. Charles came downstairs and decided he wanted to try to talk to LeBlanc, so he shot up, ran at his feet to try to get his attention, set Maddox on fire. there was some more there was more attempted talking. At which point, the Russian spy of Oswald tried to stake Charles, fell over, played dead. They started escaping, fired around, hurt LeBlanc. He got away anyway. Got up. Sheriff and Red showed up through the same elevator shaft. They were chasing him too. We all decided. Charles said he knew where he was going, so we all piled up in the car and started driving away. While Dominic was having his freak out with his mental voices, Charles got a call from his contact about some information of things happening and a request for something, and also a call from Lucia to meet up about some important information. Everybody rounded up and went to a cafe that was 2 blocks from St. Judas's Cathedral, met up, had some discussions about what should be done, divulged information about some stuff with the matriarch. Eventually, LeBlanc was seen heading into St. Judas Cathedral, which when it was go time, everybody got their weapons, including a new one from a destitute shopkeeper. And Maddox pulled his Duke Boys impersonation, and that was about the end of it.
All right, Henry.
All right, I'm going to cover the other side of things while those two were busy, role-playing as Laura Croft.
Yeah.
And my character is the only female of the group, but she was busy trying to get information out of Pandora, even though she didn't trust Pandora, and Pandora pulled some weird, freaky crazy ass fey magic shit that are stuck in her head. And essentially that kind of devolved into Pandora put her to sleep and then disappeared, and Lucia's sire/mentor appeared, who was Celine Magus, and of course she didn't trust her because she didn't trust anyone she couldn't put into a vinculum at the moment, because she either feels that she is still covered with the taint of Valentine, or she can't trust people who may be agents of Valentine's. But she decided to go meet with her mentor at Pandora's Club, actually, and while she did that, she gathered some stakes and some road flares and basically stole them from the local Walmart and shoved them into her jacket and left. And when she met her sire managed to win her over on trust issues by offering a Kruak ritual that gave each of them a stage 1 vinculum and allowed them to essentially get a better feel of their blood. I guess it works even better since there's already a blood connection between the two of them. But it gave Lucia a calm of mind and allowed her to actively listen instead of distrust Celine, as she pulled Lucia into an astral projection and told her about the matriarch was dead but still alive, and the fact that she was still alive because her essence was tied to a tree, and a very important tree in, I guess, a main park in Eden, or it was near the Elysium. I can't exactly remember exactly where it is. But I'm sure Lucia knows. And
by Elysium.
Yeah, by Elysium. I knew it was one of those two places. But they have less than 3 days now to find a willing host for the matriarch to enter and rectify everything. But because of Lucia's taint, both Celine and her were counting on Valentine to come across this information one way or another, either through her, like, unwillingly or willingly. But they played chicken with Valentine and kind of pissed her off a little bit, just to make sure, she knew that she was losing control, at least over Lucia. And they made a plan to, Celine was going to go find a host for the matriarch, while Lucia took care of any things concerning her coterie, or if she could harm Valentine in any way. And she decided after Celine was gone, she called up Trenton Maddox and Mr. Charles Tybalt, and essentially told them to meet with her at some point, because she was going to drop a knowledge bomb on them both. And when she did, they brought...
Your motherfucking mind.
Yeah, exactly. This is how I'm going to blow your motherfucking mind. Anyway, so they meet up at a cafe because that's where Mr. Tybalt suggests they go, and they all exchange information, and that's when they tell her about Nikolai, and she can almost immediately assume that Nikolai is Valentine's proxy for the her host for the matriarch. So when they all decide to go attack him, she has Mr. Tybalt get her a weapon and some ammunition from the shopkeep, and she decides to hide it with obfuscate and wait for them to cause a distraction while she go hunts down her old Covenant member, who always pissed her off anyway. And she's hoping it'll strike a blow against Valentine and further her own plans, especially as she's kind of hoping her words will inspire um, Lady Graves to serve as the host. But she's not telling anyone this herself.
Very
and that's, as
good.
they say, is the rest of the story.
So thanks for tuning in, guys. And that's terrible. That's just terrible. Anywho, if we are ready to resume the game,
Yes.
the car goes and boom, crashes through the hard oaken wooden doors of the cathedral.
I believe so.
I believe at this point, Trenton is still inside the vehicle.
Yes.
Let's find out what them Duke boys are up to.
Boom! The doors crash open. The car goes and whoom does a slight arc before landing headfirst into some pews and the horn going off. And
Is that a damage roll?
yes, it is.
But airbags,
Airbag.
they're a top-rated security feature.
All right then, Trenton. Kind of passes out and awakes a couple of moments later. Sustaining some minor injuries, aka 2 points of bashing damage. Your head has glass all over it, and there's shards of glass and wood sort of in your coat, but nothing that seems too serious, and you kind of shrug it off. Maybe pop your neck a bit. It's like, oh.
And Trent gets his rifle ready in his arms.
You go and you step outside the vehicle, and as you step outside the vehicle, the horn's still going off, but it seems as though the last of the air that was in the compressor just kind of let it out. The horn goes, and then it's silent. But while that's going on, Charles and Lucy are there along with Red and Jillian, as they, I assume, witness this incredible feat. And what are they going to be doing while this is going on?
At this moment, Lucia is essentially waiting for Red and Graves to take charge, since they're kind of the more elder vampires and thusly more experienced. Also, she kind of wants to use them as a shield just in case when they step in, people start firing at them like crazy. So
No,
she's...
I'm asking you guys as Game Master, what was your course of action? Because the last thing that we really discussed was, hey, Trenton, go run the car into there. Okay, we're done with that now. We're going to go home. What?
Well, I have a suggestion.
Yeah, because
If such
as
as
a Game Master, I really don't know the course of action you were going. That wasn't communicated to me. Aside from, Trenton, go run the thing into the car.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
Lucia is waiting for direction from either three people who seem to be more in charge, but she's just kind of anxious to go and kill Nikolai.
I'm sorry. Am I good here?
Yeah, you're there.
Perhaps Miss Graves, Miss Red, perhaps you might go around the back, so to speak, while Mr. Maddox continues to provide cover. Miss Cole, would you come with us? With me, I should say, and Mr. Maddox. While we provide a more adequate time for these two to get into place.
I suppose that might be. adequate, just as long as we can catch with Nikolai first.
Of course. We'll move as quickly as you can, saying, stepping off the curb and towards the church.
All right.
Over the
So
skid marks.
okay, so Red goes and she kind of nods a bit. She reaches down. She pulls out her submachine gun. She gives it a quick cock and a making sure it's all good to go. She looks towards She looks towards Graves. Graves, of course, goes. She looks towards Lucia and she goes, "Well, I thought this was your plan, but if you're not going to do anything," she goes, taking the lead. "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to split into 2 groups."
I just said that.
Well, no, I'm well aware of what you said, but as I said, I thought this was her plan.
Yeah.
Pointing
My
towards
plan
Lucia.
is to make sure that Valentine doesn't have a proxy, just in case you may have forgotten.
Her plan is more a guideline.
Okay, look, Charles, you and Red
No.
are going to go sneak around the back. There should be an entrance to the south, if I know this pretty well.
There's something I've neglected to mention, Miss Grave, and that I have certain vested interest in making the acquaintance of the primogen of the Lincier Sanctum while we're here. And I was hoping to do that. I wanted to ascertain something of him, and I suspect he'll be
Seeing
out
as
front.
Tybalt, seeing as how you just had my student drive a car into the front doors, I think that's going to be the last thing on his mind, is having it sit down with you.
By this
That was-
time, flashing back towards to Trenton while this is going on.
Trenton's being crucified on the altar at this time.
Trenton steps out of the car, very kind of clumsily, very weird. I'm assuming this would be one of his first few car accidents. He holds out the rifle, he kind of whips it around, shakes his head, and then something very odd happens.
What's...
Trenton goes and he looks around and he's like, "Hey, there's nobody here."
Oh, damn it. Where'd they go? Trent's gonna walk up towards the back of the church, or where the altar is.
Okay. You go and you walk up back towards the back of the altar. They have the pipe organ that's there, the many different candles that are all lit for when they come in to do their respects and what have you.
Frenzy check.
It's not quite that bad.
Get it.
I got you.
Trent's gonna look around for some sort of like a back passage or rectory door or something like that.
Well, yeah, you do noticeably see that there are 2 doors in the very north entrance of the cathedral. One to your right, one to your left, presumably leading to respective rooms. And there's also in the very, very, very back of the church, there's another 2 set of doors. One that you assume leads to the back where they do the baptisms, and the other that kind of leads off into something else entirely. But these are all notably, open and visible to you.
Okay. Which door? Trent opts for the door, which is not what he thinks is the baptismal room.
Okay.
Or one next to it.
Okay. You go and Trent goes and he proceeds with caution, turning the knob and swinging the door open. As he swings the door open, can see that this just leads to the back, where it looks as though it's all pitch black.
Trent, he looks for a light switch or any sort of...
You go and you reach over to your right, then you reach over to your left, and you find the light switch, and you switch it on. You see this seems to be where they keep the sound equipment, extra wires, what have you, whatever you might need, to help with the voice and the acoustics and what have you of this place.
Okay, he's gonna leave the room and enter the room that he was assuming was for the baptisms and stuff, just to check.
Okay. Trenton kind of goes and he's like, "Oh, no, why am I wasting time?" He goes and he walks towards the other one and he opens the door and he steps through, and as soon as he goes in, there's a set of stairs that kind of lead up, not all the way up, just maybe a couple of steps up and to your left, and as he thought, of course, this is where the baptismal area is.
Are the steps lead to a baptismal
Yes.
device or something?
No,
okay.
It's basically a tub area that's directly behind the main crucifix. Usually, this is where they do the baptisms for the children that might be a little older, or maybe people that are older that want to be baptized that maybe for some reason were never baptized when they were children.
Like a tiny pool.
Yeah, basically.
Trenton goes for a swim. No, I'm just kidding.
And he burns to death.
No, Trent's gonna take a look at the baptismal bowl.
Okay.
And investigate.
Okay. What are you going to do exactly to investigate?
He's gonna try to push it, or is it? It's up against the wall, correct?
Yeah, it's up against the wall.
He's gonna try to push. He's gonna try to push on it a bit and see if there's some kind of passageway or something.
Okay. Trenton goes and he pushes against it, and it seems pretty solid, pretty embedded into the wall itself. In fact, upon closer inspection, you can actually see where it was actually crafted from part of the original concrete from the foundation. So this baptismal area is actually, will not move short of, destruction of part of the building.
Okay. Then he'll retreat from that room then.
All right.
And he's gonna enter one of the side doors to the right.
All right. By this time, flashing back to the rest of the group, as everybody's standing around arguing, you hear the sound of the horn slowly turn off.
Whatever we're doing, we better do it fast. Our element of surprise is probably dwindling.
All right, fine. I'll go with Red, I say, with a huff, and jog to catch up to Red.
Right.
I turn to Graves and then I nod. I go, after you.
Right. Jillian goes and she takes off towards the main entrance where Trenton went barreling through the door, although the barrel roll seemed to do little to help him.
Should have tried a somersault.
As the pair, both Graves and
Lucia
enter the building, of course, you see Trenton coming out from the back room. And then he kind of looks up and he sees you, and by this time, you can freely interact with each other as you will.
I wave him over, kind of like, hurry, like, now, get over here, now, hurry, now, do it, now.
You can also see he does have, several amounts of glass embedded into his forehead, his arms.
He's a vampire.
Yeah, what
He'll
have
get
you?
over it.
No one's here. They're gone.
Well then they must be somewhere.
They have to be somewhere.
Lucia activates Auspex. I guess keeping concentration on obfuscating her shotgun, and she's essentially using heightened senses to try and see like where people may have gone, like maybe disturbed dust if there was a hidden door, or like footprints heavily in one area.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Go ahead and give me a resolve plus investigation roll.
Resolve plus investigation. Does heightened senses give me any bonuses?
No, but it's what's actually allowing you to make this roll.
Okay, 6 dice. Two successes.
All right. You do notice that, aside from the very large crater in the center of the church, caused by somebody's vehicle, whoever careless individual that would have been.
Somebody.
Yeah, somebody. There does seem to look as though there's a number of footprints, very, very light, possibly left over from the graveyard that you were in earlier. It's possible.
I wasn't in the graveyard, but he was.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, there's some dirt that looks like it didn't belong there.
Yeah.
And it looks as though it's actually leading towards the main front entrance where the organ and the crucifix are.
And I point this out to Graves. I go, there's a trail of fresh dirt. It appears to be grave dirt leading from the crash site to the crucifix. And then I follow it.
I'm confused by this. Jillian says as she walks forward that either they're in more of a hurry than we can imagine, or this is a trap. I'm going with the later of the two.
Yeah, I assume it's more likely to be a trap than if somehow they knew we were coming. I investigate the area where it ends.
It seems as though it ends right by the crucifix.
All right, then I use my heightened investigation auspics abilities and investigate for any cliche little switches and shit.
Okay, go ahead and make a roll.
Turn the
Same exact roll?
Yeah, same exact roll.
It's under the
while that's
loincloth.
going on,
Hold on. 5 successes.
Nice. While that's going on, Charles and Scarlet. I'm sorry, Red Scarlet. Yeah. Sorry, I gotta look at my notes. It's been a long time. Charles and Red go and they start making their way towards the rear. Actually, as you go past the building, the cathedral itself, in the back, there's actually a heavy cast iron gating that goes all the way around. There is a private cemetery that is just reserved for those particular of the clergymen who have maybe passed away while in service to the church.
Does it look like it would bear any sort of... It would bar our passage? Do we have to make it... Would it be impossible to climb or locked or anything like that?
It is about maybe 8 feet tall. It would be pretty difficult to climb, but it looks as though Red's leading you towards the back entrance.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We'll take that one. Comrade, I say as we're walking, if we come across the primogen of the Lincea Sanctum, please leave him to me.
That's actually what I'm worried about. If the primogen... I know him, McGregor.
Yes.
I don't know. I never thought he'd be in cahoots with somebody like Nikolai. I hope
Yes.
I hope for his sake he's not, but with all that's going on, you never know.
Of course. Do you know him well enough to convince him of any sort of actions? I think I may be able to persuade him into something of an opposition.
I know him well enough to know that he should be thinking for himself, and I can tell the difference between him thinking for himself and somebody manipulating him.
And you believe that he is being manipulated?
By this time, the pair of you make it around towards the back. It looks as though there's this large cast iron lock that's been placed over the back of it. Scarlet goes and she reaches down into her pocket, pulling out a large key. She goes, well enough to let you know this is our old haven back in the day when we were neonates ourselves. She puts the key and she slowly starts turning the lock.
He didn't change the locks. How nice of him.
Well, would he really have a reason to? There's only 3 people in the city that had a key to this. Me, him, and well. But we're not going to talk about her right now. She's passed on. The gate opens with a creak.
Ladies first.
I was about to tell you the same thing. Scarlet says with a smirk before stepping in and pulling the submachine gun out and holding it at the ready. Takes a few steps. She looks around, surveys the area. She's familiar with it. She's been here a few times, obviously.
Mm-hmm. She stares angrily at the "No Girls Allowed" sign.
She takes a few
memories.
She takes a few steps forward and she goes towards the back entrance. She goes, okay, this is where they want us in.
Okay, yeah, follow behind. With revolver and shotgun. One in each hand. Because why the hell not?
The door, yeah, you slowly start fiddling with the door, and as the door is fiddled with, it swings open. As you swing open, you find yourself face to face with a very peculiar gentleman. You see him standing there, in a black business suit, and it looks as though he's changing, and he's like, "Yes, excuse me, may I help you?" Scarlet instantly grabs him, whoom, by the scruff, bam! Goes and plants him down, places the barrel against his temple.
Drift on over next to him. We're the caterers. Lean down
I
next to him.
see, he says rather astutely.
Now, perhaps you might tell us what's going on tonight so that we might have a little better of an idea of what to plan for a meal.
Well, I'm here on business. I was asked to come here by Mr. LeBlanc himself.
Can I make a knowledge check as to see who this is? If it's somebody of import?
Yes, you can, and kindred politics will apply to this.
That would be intelligence plus politics plus kindred affairs.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? Who?
Oh, I really want to know. With 5 dice, or 5 successes, rather.
Nice. You recognize him almost instantly once you get a good look at his face. This is Carlos Giovanni. Not only is he a member of the Order Dracul, but more importantly, he's also apparently whispered and rumored to be a necromancer. Which is a very strange and a very obscure talent amongst kindred.
Well, sir, I doubt you want to be involved in this business for very long. I'm afraid we haven't made the pleasure of the acquaintance, I say, kind of nudging Red to put the gun away.
Red kind of goes, and Red looks up, her eyes suddenly flashing to who was behind him. Yes, comrade, I think it would be a very good idea if you put away weapon, and we all get along very well. Mr. Nikolai, he's expecting you. As you look up and you realize almost instantly who this is.
Oscar!
Oh. It's Oswald.
Oh, well, whatever.
Alright.
We all have big family reunion, yes?
Yes, of course. I was hoping to see you first, Oswald.
Now then,
oh.
hold on.
Okay,
I gotta
okay.
spread out the spotlight.
I'm sorry.
What do I get with my exceptional success? Yee!
You get
You got an
dirt.
exceptional success?
You get
Yes.
dirt. You get dirt.
Hell
That's
to
what
the
you
yes.
got.
You get grave dirt footprints.
No. In all seriousness now. You go and you look around, you start investigating around the large crucifix that's against the north wall. You can see that there's obviously a crease within the foundation, within the wall itself, where the crucifix kind of sits back a bit. And there's 2 slits along each side, which leads you to believe that either this wall was made after the fact, or there's some sort of way that this wall is artificial and can be removed.
Can I tell what the slits are actually used for?
I
Now that I know they're there?
I kind of told you it lets the wall be removed.
Okay, so like, no, I thought like they were like just like slits, like kind of like slits, like they're not connected to anything.
No, yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that they're not connected to the main foundation of the building, which means, like I said, this wall was either built after the initial construction of the facility. So it looks as though basically this doesn't belong.
All right, I go. This wall doesn't actually belong here. It was either built after the church or modified into it. These 2 slits here seem to indicate that this wall can actually be removed, but I don't actually know how to go about opening it. Brute force.
I could do that.
Jillian goes and she looks up at it. Well, whether it's recent or not, that is quite a monumental task. Even me with my increased vigor that's probably well without outside of my capabilities.
Does it look like things could be put into the slits, or like there's slits that you can grab?
No, they're very small slits. It doesn't look like anything goes into it, and it doesn't seem large enough so that way you can grab them.
Maybe it moves up or moves to the side then.
And where exactly are these slits next to the cross? Are they
Yeah, where
beneath?
no, where the north wall is, where the crucifix is.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, there is another wall that's kind of sunken in from the rest, and along the sides of this sunken in wall, unlike the baptismal tub which I told you about, which kind of looks as though it was built with the original building, this wall doesn't have that same markings. It looks as though it was built after the fact, meaning it's possible it's an artificial wall, or it's possible it can be moved or torn down, or whatever the case may be.
Would my heightened senses allow me to see if it's real or fake? Like, not like fake, but I meant like stone or like.
It's concrete, stone. It's. You can tell it's dressed up to look as much like the surrounding area as possible, and to the regular eye, it would look just like that. But with your heightened sense of sight, you can see imperfections in it.
Trent's gonna try to push on it a bit just to see if anything happens, if it budges at all.
Okay. Trenton goes and he pushes on it forcefully, but not necessarily exerting his entire strength. And there's a loud sort of like a sort of like a sinking sensation against it before something is braced against, braced back.
He's gonna try to use more strength to push it sideways.
Okay, give me a strength plus, just a flat out strength roll. But you can add, I think you have vigor, don't you? I don't have
Lucia signals to Graves that it would probably be wise to get ready just in case.
No, I don't have vigor, by the way.
Okay, then it'll just be a flat out strength. I really should have your guys' character sheets open.
Yeah, you probably should.
The candle back.
Blow out the candle and pull the lever underneath the loincloth. One success.
Trenton goes and he lunges into it. Boom! Trying to push it, and it's the same sensation. It falls back just a bit and then recoils. It like you can tell it's supposed to move a certain direction to the left. It's supposed to slide off, if you will. But it's almost as though there's a brace, or there's a release, or there is something on the other side that's keeping it in place, a locking mechanism.
Lucia tries to turn the crucifix.
The crucifix itself seems firmly bolted in place.
Oh.
Can she look into the slits?
No, they're too small to actually see through.
Trent looks around. Is there an altar as well?
Yes, there's an altar, there's an organ, there are the numerous candles, which I mentioned earlier.
All the candles, check the holes on the hands of that crucifix. Kick something
Quiet,
over.
you.
I'm sorry.
You aren't here, you're dead.
Voice of metagaming. Trent's gonna play a ditty on the organ.
A ditty? The Goonies?
Oh, as you actually, that's not a bad idea. But instead, she kind of signals you to stop before you even begin, and tries to basically use her senses to see if like any of the keys are, not what they should be.
Oh, somebody's using their noggin now.
Yes.
If they're weighted?
Yeah, essentially.
Actually, upon Lucia inspecting that closer, and she can go ahead and do a roll for that.
That went down to Georgia.
3 successes.
You can tell that there are certain keys that bear a very light amount of the same dirt that was encountered earlier.
He's walking on my hands.
Can I tell in what order they were pressed in?
No, you're not quite able to figure that out.
Okay,
How-
what keys were they exactly?
Out of character, I'm not very notably accurate, so...
Okay, well, I'm not going to give you a full lesson on piano keys for a moment, but keys are essentially alphabetical, and they tie
I know.
into,
They go from A to, like, I think G or something.
Well, essentially, she's going to push them in either musical order, like, you know, from one octave to the next, and if that doesn't work, she's going to do alphabetical order.
You were like her, press them all at once. Scary.
You press them in the order that you think, and, you know, the pipes ring out in a certain way, but it doesn't seem as though it's had any effect as of yet.
The keys are weighted, and there's a particular order that they should be pressed in. Madam Graves, I don't suppose there's a particular tune or phrase that the church follows on their ceremonies or that they used in Elysium?
She goes and she looks at you and she kind of quirks her brow. Honey, I haven't been to a church since I was 12 and I was alive.
Can Lucia check the actual piano itself, follow the keys as they are in the piano, and pretty much try and see how the keys work in regards to the door?
She can certainly try.
Screw your puzzles.
Because I don't know what order to press it in, and, well, if I can't figure out what order to press it in, then I might as well just check the actual mechanics. Nothing.
Nope, you can't quite figure nothing out. That makes of any sense to anyone.
Lucia, try pushing all the keys down at the same time.
And she does so.
Aside from a harmony of dissonance that rings out, nothing really takes any effect.
Try the Zelda unlock theme.
What kind of vampire builds a fucking cliche thing like this? So she mumbles under her breath.
You hear Jillian smirk, obviously an elder. While this is going on...
I can't believe it. We are literally stuck at a goddamn fucking door.
Shoot! Drive the car through the door!
Oswald stands there as Mr. Giovanni dusts himself off and gets back up to his feet. Now then, as we were, business, yes. I suppose we shall take them in, yes, since Nikolai is expecting us.
You'll want our weapons, of course, I say, holding the shotgun out to Oswald.
Yes, I do. You see him go you see him go, and he's actually holding a shotgun himself. But his shotgun seems to be custom-made triple barrel.
I'm holding the shotgun out low, I'm basically holding out the pump part of the shotgun to him.
Uh-huh.
Barrel out, maybe angled upwards, like at the sky, so that he'll grab it by the pump. Come on.
Okay.
Does he do so?
He reaches out for it.
I'm going to try to do something. I'm going to try to activate celerity, and as soon as he grabs onto it, I'm going to let go the hand that holds onto it, basically just drop it down and pull the trigger at his face.
You know what? Go ahead, make the roll. I'm going to totally allow this.
What should I be rolling?
I'd say a dexterity plus firearms, and you'll get to add your celerity as a bonus to this.
It's still not very high. How much willpower
Well,
do I
that
have?
sounds like a personal problem.
I'm spending a willpower, jerk. 5 with use willpower. Aha! 5 successes.
Fuck.
Nice.
You took my critical success and just kind of gave me bad luck.
That's 2 in a row, actually. I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Anywho, boom! The shotgun goes off right in his face. He kind of staggers back a bit.
It was a flaming shot.
Yeah, I know. He still
Okay, just remember. You
he
remember.
still staggered back a bit. By this time, Giovanni goes and see him go, and he holds his hands out in a weird, archaic manner. He moves them a very subtle way. Suddenly, from outside of the ground itself, these skeletal hands reach up. One grabs for Charles's leg, the other grabs for Red's leg, and holds them firmly in place, preventing them from moving. That's enough out of you two. Oswald kind of goes and staggers back, and he puts out the fire that's on him, and he goes, ugh.
Funku, you're still alive, I said, looking at him decidedly.
Resilience. Wonderful thing when used correctly.
I turn quickly to Giovanni and throw the shotgun at his feet. I'm not here to hurt you, sir, but I'm doing what I can for your best interest. You do not want to get tangled up with these fellows, especially the Russian.
He coughed. Oh, I'm sorry. Oswald coughed a bit. Now then, Giovanni, release. We take them inside, but we do the fun way. He goes and he opens his jacket and he pulls out a couple of stakes. This only hurt a little bit, I assure you.
Shit.
And with that, he proceeds to stake Mr. Charles, unless he's going to try to resist, which I'm sure he's going to in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but I don't know how much I can with apparently my legs
being grappled.
Yes.
Do a barrel roll.
I can't barrel roll. My Z button is trapped by the hands.
My Z button's stuck. I'm stuck in an infinite barrel roll.
No.
Okay.
I don't know how much I can really resist.
Well, be creative. I mean.
Well, are you gonna let me? I don't know. I feel like I'm fighting rails here, or not rails, but I'm fighting your idea. I'll do it though if you want me to.
Well, I'm giving you the option. I mean, but it's entirely. I mean, I want you to feel like what would you do in this situation? You know.
Oh well, I'm gonna. Well, no, I'm not. Because no. Well, I'm just gonna try to slap the hand away and shoot him a few more times with a revolver.
Okay.
Slap the mistake.
Go ahead. Fine with it.
But the gun to the face didn't work.
If the gun to the face didn't work, clearly a bullet between the eyes will.
A few more, why not? I'll fire the whole gun into his face. What's the normal for? Okay, it's not going to do very well.
All right, go ahead.
0 successes.
Bam, 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 bam. The shots all go and they fire off as they go and they hit into his chest, and you see almost as soon as they impact, he looks down at them and then he looks up at you. The wounds almost instantly healing as they heal back out and they spit the bullets to the ground. He holds up his index finger to you and he wags it back and forth. No, no, no.
Well, if we're going to be cheating, I say angrily.
And with that, he grabs Charles and then does the last thing Charles remembers for the moment.
For all of eternity. Because he's buried in a sewage drain.
Charles awakes several minutes later.
Oh.
In what looks like the middle of the Serengeti Desert, strapped down. With the sun about to rise in mere moments.
Savannah!
Anywho, no.
He sees a lion cub born.
Oh my. It's a beautiful last scene. I'm sorry.
The last thing he sees. Anywho, scrolling back over to Lucia, Julian, and Quentin.
Well, she knows that Nikolai's here, and she knows that he said something to her, so she's trying to recall exactly if there's anything he may have said to her that she could apply to keyboards or pianos or even secret doors, even though she's really skeptical that he'd be that stupid and egotistical to do such a thing.
Well, I will let you ponder that because we need to take a short break.
Ba-da-da-da-da.